to the first ever episode of Two Sides of the Coin. I'm your host, Michael Douthray, along with your co-host,
Sean. Today we're going to be... Goodwin. We're going to be talking about Mulan!
Mulan!
This isn't it.
There's paper mache dragons in the original, and this is a dragon.
It's actually more of a puma or jaguar or...
yeah, I mean...
Okay, hold on!
We're recording a show.
Let's talk about this movie.
Alright, as I said earlier, we're going to be discussing Mulan. Alright, now, you may be wondering, guys, how did you see this movie during quarantine?
We didn't! We're just going to talk about it.
So, I'm actually excited for it. I know I always say that I want to see all the Disney remakes.
Yeah, he does. I'm not so... I'm not so far.
I'm not going to lie. In order to actually review a movie and talk about it, I need to see it twice. The first time, I'm always like, wow! And then I'll buy the Blu-ray. Well, now I don't have to, but like, you get the movie, you go home, you watch it, and it's just like, it's not as good as I remember because it's just the feeling of being in the theater and just, just seeing the movie you've been looking forward to. And so I get a little overhyped sometimes. But let's talk about Mulan. Now, there's rumors that were confirmed. No Mushu. And no music.
That's a thing a lot of people have been getting up in arms about. I'm gonna take the reins on this one because this is very. So for me, my biggest problem with the Disney remakes are honestly when they try to be too similar to the originals. Because for me, I always come down with that simple argument of if we have the original, why watch the new one? Now I can understand maybe they want to take the old one and give it that fresh coat of paint. I can understand that, but for me, if you're going to do that, you do need to. I don't know, you gotta still reinvigorate it somehow. Because to me, like, I think the biggest example would be like The Lion King.
Oh, yeah.
That didn't need a fresh coat of paint.
The first viewing, right away, I was like, ugh.
Yeah, because that's literally the definition of taking the older movie and giving it a new fresh coat of paint. And what did it do, necessarily? It created a lot of controversy because a lot of people were watching it and going, hey, this thing is literally the same exact film.
Same thing.
And it's just like, and if that's the case, does that mean it's good? Does that mean it's bad? What does that mean exactly?
I actually thought it was worse. Now
it was technically worse.
Some people might say, "Oh, they're different. You can't compare." My biggest problem, and a lot of people say this with cartoons, you can do anything you want with them. But when you make something so realistic, and like for example, the big example, Zazu, when you literally have a bird whose mouth goes like this, and he makes "oh" sounds and "la la" sounds and "ooh" sounds, the beak doesn't move. Where the cartoon it does to give it the human. Vagrants, whatever the word is, tone.
Yes,
words.
No, but I agree with that. See, so that's what I'm saying. That's where I come from when they want to make a movie, a Disney remake, and they try to make it too similar to the original. Yes. It's like I don't want that because all that's doing is it's not giving it its own personality. In fact, if anything, it's just going to step on the shoes of the original. Yeah. So whenever I see them make a remake, I want them to come up with a new idea, for example, and it is made, unfortunately, by the same exact people. If you didn't know this. The Jungle Book remake I thought was fantastic.
It was honestly very cool.
I thought it was they did the perfect job of taking the original story, adding their own twist to it that was something special but still keeping true to the original. It was much darker, which I loved about it. And at the same time, with what they're trying to do with these remakes, it opened up a whole new audience to the originals.
Yes.
So in other words, people are seeing them now, younger audience that goes, whoa, that was great. Now what's the original like? And it always comes up with the idea like,
and the original still looked very good.
Yeah.
It was in the 60s. It holds up.
Yes. So that's what I feel like is the high standard for a good remake. For me, The Lion King, ironically, is the exact opposite. So I guess it's making people very torn on this Mulan.
Yeah.
Very, very torn. I know we've gone into a lot now.
Yeah. And we're getting into more.
Yes, we are going to get into more.
My thing, I'm okay with the no singing because, like I said, it's kind of silly, if you're watching a musical like on stage, you expect singing, okay? Disney, typically you expect singing in cartoons and live action remakes. But since they're live action, they're based in reality, I've never burst out into song with an orchestra behind me. I've done it without it. But you know what I mean? And then Mushu is a little silly. Dragons don't talk. Dragons are not real. Yes. Now, will they use actual dragons? Maybe. I don't know. It's mythology. I don't know. But I'm okay with them making it real. obviously
Yeah.
gravity will be defied in some things, I'm sure, because it's gonna be acrobatic and whatnot. But the main part I was trying to say is they're not trying to copy and paste, but they're actually trying to do something new and kind of merge it. And then when it goes down that funnel, hopefully it's nice and tasty.
Yes, good
I was
analogy.
about to say toilet, but
Nice and
I
tasty
don't know
toilet.
it's shitty yet.
Oh my god.
Not trying to piss you off.
No, but I would say I'm pretty much on the same chapter there, because I think a lot of people with this Mulan film are very, I don't know, there seems to be almost two types of people now, where there's the people that are like, oh, they're taking out my precious original things, oh, that means it's bad. And then there's other people that are like, no, we don't want you guys to just remake the originals, do something new with it, which is the camp I'm in. And so for this Mulan film, it's not appeasing everybody, and I think that's the problem with a lot of Disney remakes. They're not going to appease everybody now, because people are going to be torn no matter what. It's just coming to a head with this Mulan one, especially with the whole Mushu thing, which I agree. I don't think Mushu should be in there for the kind of film they're kind of going for. I can understand how keeping him would just be out of place.
And you can always have other comedic characters, like,
yes.
I can't remember their names except for Jim Poe, because he's my favorite. I am Jim Poe. But, like, they're comedic characters, what if Mushu was taken out, then, well, that's cool, it would just be people and you get to concentrate on the other characters. And
yeah.
I hope they have a Jim Poe in this movie now, I just realized that.
Well, no, that would be hilarious.
I just want to see the big holding him.
I would love that. And
we don't want to hate these movies. We want to love every movie we see.
Yeah, the problem is everyone's not going to love them.
Right.
No matter what. But I think the most
saw that.
important thing about the new Mulan film, I think, which a lot of people are not necessarily paying too much attention to. I see a lot of people completely skimming over this when it comes to criticizing the film. They're clearly going for a very specific cultural style with it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you were saying with the acrobatics and all. They're going for those, over the top, martial arts kinds of flicks. Going with the original Mulan folktale more in line with what they're doing. It's just, for me, I feel like that'll give it a huge taste. Because I think my problem with, and oh boy, we're going to get into it later, but my problem with the Aladdin film that came out.
You have not seen the Aladdin film.
I have not, but
I have.
Famously, he likes it.
I like it. I think it's, except, like I said, I've seen it twice now. I saw it the second time. It's always not as good the second time, but I still think it's not one of those, like, hey, you gotta see this, but it's like, hey, if you want to kick back, relax, do something else where that's in the background.
I have no interest in seeing it. I really don't.
You need to see it if you're going to judge it.
I'm just, well, we're about that now. But I just want to say the thing regarding that movie that I feel like might have, plus, and I think everyone felt the same way, is how cool would it have been if it was a Bollywood film, the Bollywood style.
Yes.
Like, I feel like that would have been such a cool idea. Yeah, that should have been explored. And that's what they're doing with this Mulan film. They're taking that original story and they're like giving it that cultural, like, I don't know what the word to put there is, but they're
Je ne sais quoi.
Yes, they're giving it that like really cool underlying tone that I really want to see. It's a bummer that it's not out now. if it was, we would have been talking about the movie.
We'll be in line when it does come out, and we'll let you know our thoughts.
Hype wise for Mulan, are you heads or tails?
I feel like Mulan will be a heads up. I feel like it will be.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same too. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like that's the most important stuff. With these new films, I'm in the camp where I feel like they need to be doing new stuff with them.
Yeah.
Not just going over the same old. Like, they're clearly struggling with trying to figure out what they want to do. And this new Mulan might actually be interesting, and I hope it just paves the way.
Lion King hopefully woke them up, because you can't, copying and pasting, no good. But so different, no good. But you want to find the right familiarity, something different.